Alrighty, we are now live, ready to go. Last session, you guys ended with kind of arriving in this chamber. I'm going to bring you guys to the map right now. And as it's like a secret passageway, you've been kind of given access by a couple of the hobgoblins, and you've been led to their leader. The leader is quite grand in appearance, has a crown upon their head, and is drinking wine and eating cheese. Quite, things that you wouldn't really normally expect hobgoblins, goblins, greenskins really eating. Which gives you the impression that this goblin is probably perceived as like a noble of their kind, right? Ball of a silver spoon in their mouth, enjoys certain things that most goblins or hobgoblins wouldn't really be interested in. Can you guys see your tokens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I shouldn't actually be sharing names of any of the creatures. That's stuff you have to figure out yourselves. But the last point of dialogue before we ended the session was the hobgoblin that has led you here saying, let me introduce you guys, let me introduce you to these mercenaries. And it's at this point that the hobgoblin basically asks for your names and to give like a quick introduction. Let's start with that. So he starts off with Duncan, and he's like, my name's Duncan. Pleasure to meet you, your highness. Kind of nudges you, Norman.
Spot on impression. I'm Norman. Pleasure to meet you.
With Alistair.
I'm Alistair. A pleasure to meet you, Your Grace.
And you too, Isabel.
I'm Isabel. Pleasure to meet you, Your Highness. I'm skilled with the blade, and I hope to be of use to you.
Alright. The hobgoblin leader now glances upon you all, obviously hearing these introductions. And he says, well, it's about time you lot came. We've been looking for mercenaries for weeks. And he kind of just pauses on that thought for a second and says, are you ready to make some money?
That's why we're here.
Always.
You, tell them what's going on. And this hobgoblin runs in front and looks at you guys and says, so, we've been having some issues with management. Second in command, his name is Rink. He is the warlock of the clan. He's getting a bit of a big head for himself, thinks himself to be the new leader. At least that's what's being rumoured. Our lord here is the rightful leader of the clan. His pappy led us before him, and his pappy before that. He is descended from great gobos, and it would be heinous for that to change, especially now. At this point, that the leader kind of like shoos away the hobgoblin, giving the information, kind of steps to the side of the room, and the leader takes over. And you can see standing next to him is this big, strong, very furry gnoll. The gnoll is probably around 5 feet tall, is quite strong in appearance, and seems to be sporting armor and weapons. It seems to be like a bodyguard for this very specific leader. Yeah, spear on their back, as well as a kind of a bow that's against the wall currently. But yeah, very nasty, this gnoll in apparel. And the leader says, my second in command. We go way back. We're basically blood brothers. His mummy and my mummy are sisters, if that makes any sense. But Rink needs to go. And if you could take care of Rink, well, we'll be friends. And I don't usually allow humans like you to help me and my kind. But if you help us, we'll help you. How does that sound?
Sounds like a fair offer.
I agree. However, to get down to the brass tacks of things, let's discuss payment. What are you willing to offer us for this job? I mean, your friendship sounds very gracious unto itself. However, us being humans, gold is the typical currency of our society.
Yeah. I know you lot are greedy. And therefore, I'll make sure to sweeten the deal. Okay? We have a storage room. It's downstairs. You'll have to get through quite a few of the gobbos. You know, just typical stuff. But it ain't led by gobbos. It's led by men. Well, a woman, actually. Don't know the name, but she kind of works with us the same way that you lot do. You know, we help her, she helps us. There's stuff there, cargo, you know. And he kind of like shows the wine in his hand. And you kind of realise this is where he must be getting his stuff from. The drink, the furs, the kind of lavish stuff. He's getting it from like bandits or something, right? Like robbing, stealing. He says, you help me, you can take some of that stuff. Should be a good bit of coin in there for you. You'll have to talk about it with the leader of the people down there, but I'm sure you'll sort it out.
No, fair deal, fair trade. All right.
Yep.
I suppose we shall not waste time and get started on the mission here. Any other information that we need to be in the know about?
Well, let's put it this way. I don't know who's friend or foe right now. There are rumours circulating that Rink wants my head. And this is really funny considering that he obviously, like, he wants his head. But he's like, he wants my head. And I don't know which of the hobbies has been gobbing it around. And which of them are on my side or not. So you gotta be careful. You can't just be walking into rooms saying whatever you want to whoever you do. Some hobbies might want to kill you.
All right.
Understood. So we'll have to be secretive.
Right. Yeah, try to be quiet. I know you bigfooters struggle with that kind of stuff, but it is quite loud down there.
Well then, let's get to it. The sooner this threat to your reign is removed, the sooner we can all get to feasting.
Yeah. Alright, lead them down. Best of luck.
Thank you, Your Grace.
You get the impression that the hobgoblin has no interest in taking care of this issue themselves. They appear a bit craven, you know, a bit fearful of fighting, a bit fearful of death. And that's where you guys come in. You guys can take care of the problem for them, and in turn, he can continue his reign. You do not know what this adversary will be like, but from what you've been told, they are a warlock, so magic will be their weapon of choice. You best be careful. Good news is for you, Alistair, a warlock would have spells. Kill them, you could gain their magic.
Sounds good.
At this point, that you're kind of, Duncan says, "All right then, we'll be off. Thank you, Your Grace." And I guess you guys now head back into the adjoining room. Sake of purpose, guys, I'm gonna start a torch timer. Hey Siri, start a timer for 1 hour. Very good. And you guys can now begin. You see the stairwell to the south of the room that leads down. You do remember also seeing one in the other room to the east of here. The big room where they were kind of chalking on the walls and painting the walls and stuff like that. It's really up to you how you would like to proceed. What do you want to do, guys?
I want to inspect the statue.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. So the statue is of a female knight in full plate, holding a long sword with both hands. The walls, as I said before, were blue mosaic art depicting various knights. And it's worth mentioning that as you kind of look at the statue, the sword itself is shining. It is not a part of the statue, it is in fact a sword. And it seems like the hobgoblins didn't notice.
I want to go retrieve the sword.
Very cool. So, as you start trying to pull the sword out, it requires a lot of strength. And suddenly, whoosh, you kind of pull it free. And as you do, the blade itself actually falls out of the hilt and pommel, as if it's been reattached by something or someone. The blade itself just clamours against the ground, and all you have in one hand is the hilt and the pommel. So the hilt and pommel. But I will say the hilt itself is azure, so like the gemstone, and it has like a lion's head on it on the pommel. It's a very beautiful, decorated, hilt and pommel. It looks like it's worth some money. So much so that I will give you guys 2 experience points each.
Nice.
I'm going to add that to Duncan's sheet. What do you want to do now,
more.
Isabel? Because you're holding you've got the pommel in your hands.
I'm gonna put the hilt in my pack, and then I'm gonna look down at the blade.
The blade itself appears shoddy, as if it's never been used. You get the impression that the real value was what you just put in your bag. The blade itself would need to be sharpened. It would need to be like honed and prepared once again to be useful in any capacity.
Okay.
Well, shall we begin our descent?
Sounds wise. Let's get this over with. I want to check these stairs if they've been recently used by the hobgoblins or not, whether they're dusty or something.
No, they appear to have been used based on the way they look, and it appears to be one of the main ways that they go down into the underground of this temple.
Okay, then this seems to be a reasonable spot to go down. We need to get down somewhere if you want to get to the warlock.
I think it's at this point that Jamie says, I think I'm going to hold back here, guys. I came here for the temple. I believe that what is down below is something that is out of the question for me. I'm going to stay here and learn more about this place. If you need healing, just return to me. But I don't want to die down there. I hope you understand.
Be
Nobody
careful of the
blames you.
hyenas.
Mhm.
She nods and says, I'm going to go into the other room. And she says, good luck. Try not to get yourselves killed. And she now heads down and lights up. Weapon. She just kind of trots down into the room. It's you guys now. Oh, so should we get going then?
Let's go down.
Absolutely.
Alright. We've got to be careful. If my time in the militia told me anything, it's that you've got to have eyes in the back of your head. Alright, who wants to go down first?
I will.
Alrighty.
I'll follow.
Cool. We'll have Alistair third and then Duncan at the
Yes,
back,
I'll go
taking the
third.
rear guard. Otherwise, you're going to end up, being at the back. So, as you guys go down the steps, they're quite narrow and elongated, but you reach the bottom relatively quickly. And you arrive to a fierce sound and stench. It is pungent of urine and filth that just wafts out of several crates that you see lining the far side of the room opposite your way in. The crates are slightly moving and you can hear the sounds of hyenas scraping, snarling, and barking. Obviously, realizing that, there are other creatures in the room. It's a very hostile kind of room to come into, but you glance around and notice a doorway, or at least a passage that leads out from this room. I'm going to bring you guys now to the map. And I'm going to center you guys to this location. Can you guys see?
Yep.
Yes.
Very good. So the crates are all on the left side of the room. There's 6 of them. And yeah, they're just all kind of rattling and moving. There appears to be these hyenas inside. And be aware, you might be working for the hobgoblins, but if you open these crates, these hyenas will just attack, most likely. I think each of them
I
have got
stand
like a
back
head.
against the other side of the wall. I don't want to be near any of these crates.
Yeah, they've all got like heavy locks on them. So the only way that they could get out is if the locks were if they were unlocked or picked or broken off or something like that. Which I guess is good news for you guys. There's also a couple of troughs that are filled with kind of pungent water. But apart from that, I mean, that's all you really get, I would say. Let's put you guys into turn order. Guys can click on your tokens roll initiative for me, please. If a torch lasts 1 hour, how long does a campfire last? It lasts for the entire downtime, or the entire rest. Okay, thank you guys. And I guess I'll roll for Duncan. Okay, so Alistair, what do you want to do?
I carefully, as far away from the crates as possible, want to move up to the place where there appears to be a doorway.
Yeah.
But since I'm not the one carrying the torch, I don't want to plunge into the darkness yet, so I just move there.
Very good. I'm gonna move up, have a peek around. These dogs are something fierce. He's getting his turn. Over to Isabel.
I'm just gonna step up here and end my turn.
Over to Norman.
Norman's gonna move up and take the lead.
Go for it. So you step out and you see like there's a kind of an intersection, a T-section ahead. You want to step into it, you'll be able to see down both sides of the corridor. Nothing really stands out, apart from the fact that to the north you hear a lot of noise. You hear the sounds of hobgoblins chattering, you can hear laughing, you can hear shouting. You get the impression that they're having some sort of festivity. To the south, you hear nothing. It is quiet, dark. I think you can see the edgings of a door.
I can. Alright, I'm gonna wave everybody forward and just wait for everybody to come on my tail. And then I'll start making my way towards the door after.
Cool, so any more movement, or are you happy where you are?
I'm happy where I am.
Cool. Alrighty, so for sake of purpose, guys, I'm just going to move all your tokens up. And I'm going to roll a check very quickly. Move you guys one more each. You now find yourselves at the door. You can also see that the corridor continues and there appears to be a turning. What do you want to do, Orman?
I want to put my ear to the door and listen to see if I can hear anything on the other side.
You put your ear to the door and you can hear the echoed voices of hobgoblins, just a couple of them, and the sound of combat, as if maybe the hobgoblins are fighting right now.
Alright. Unless my turn is over from here, I'd like to make my way down to the little bend over here.
Yeah,
and
you
see
can
on the
move
other
up.
side.
You want to move down? You move down and you see a door, and there appears to be a chalk written on the door in the language of the hobgoblins, which is savage. The same language that orcs speak and a lot of the other greenskins, and it's a language that you understand, Norman. And the words that are written on the door say Rink's Place.
Bullseye. I'm gonna wave everybody up to come behind me, and I'll just wait for now.
Cool. Alistair, your turn.
Yes, if I see Norman gesturing towards us, I just move up to him. I trust his judgment.
Anything you want to do? Any spells you want to cast?
Let me quickly check what the duration of mage armor in this game was.
Pretty sure it's a while, isn't it?
I thought so too. Got the book here.
Yeah.
Spells. 10
Alright.
rounds. So
10 rounds.
I hold it off for now.
Okay. Isabel? Alright. They all kind of move in behind you. Isabel actually pushes to the front. What do you want to do? Do you still have your action, Isabel?
I look back to Norman for confirmation that he wants me to open the door.
Yeah, I let everybody know what the text on the door says, and then I give her I give Isabel confirmation to open the door, but I draw my weapon before I say that.
Yeah, I'm gonna draw my sword and then open the door.
Very good. You may open the door. As you open the door, you suddenly notice a hobgoblin looking back. He looks pretty startled to see you, of all things, Isabel, opening the door, and immediately now draws his weapon. Adding them to the initiative for reference. I just rolled a 2d6. This is interesting, actually. What's your charisma modifier, Isabel?
+1.
Not bad. He lowers the weapon towards you, but then points over to the southern side of the room and says, "A great one. There are humans here. Are they the mercenaries that you wanted to hire?"
Oh yes, the plot thickens.
That was just Isabel who acted, right? This one kind of steps out and steps in the way, just kind of like, you know, defend to the southern side of the room. Norman, what do you want to do?
Norman's gonna step out and he's gonna speak in Savage.
Yes, we want to step past Isabel into the room then, so you can actually see who you're talking to. As you look to the southern side of the room, you see a desk. You see, to the northern side, a bookcase. There appears to be 2 sets of plate armor in this room. I'm not even joking. There's proper armor in here. And on the floor in the center, there is chalk that has been kind of sketched out as if to kind of like make a ritual circle. And it's all been sketched out, and it appears that this hobgoblin, who is what you assume to be the warlock, is halfway through doing a ritual. He's reading a scroll right now as he puts the scroll down and he says, "What, Null? Oh, yes, the mercenaries." What do you say?
Apologies, Great One, for our tardiness here. It was a little troublesome to find this place, but we are here now and looking to take up the job that has been rumored to be offered around here.
Did you kill some of Derek's men on the way down here?
No, we managed to deceive them and find our way down here. Don't really want to draw blood until we know for sure that we have our correct targets. Professional complimentaries, I suppose.
Roll a charisma check, and I'm going to give you advantage on this, Norman. 9. Rig doesn't seem impressed by you, but doesn't appear to see you as being deceitful or a liar. And leads back and says, Well, if it's not just you, how about the rest of your lot come in and let me see what I'm hiring? You guys all want to move your tokens along a bit and move into the room? That'd be swell. They all kind of shift over, and you can see that the two hobgoblin guards, they appear to be a bit better geared than the other hobgoblins you've seen. These look like, you know, the veterans, right? They're more equipped and more able of the hobgoblin pack, and it seems that they have took up stock with Rink, the hobgoblin warlock. And he appears to be definitely what I said he is. You look back, Alistair, at the bookcase and you see old books of various types. There are scrolls. This is a very interesting character, and he seems, I mean, to be able to communicate in Goblin, but in Savage, but he also now begins to speak in Broken Common. I hire you. You work for me. You kill boss. I give that. And he points over to one of the sets of plate armor in the corner. We have deal? And he puts out his hand.
I kind of glance at Isabel and Norman, trying to guess their reactions.
Like the pubs guys are out of turn order right now. I want to allow you guys to freeform, roleplay, and stuff. But I will re-roll it if I need to.
Norman's gonna pipe up and say in Savage, and he puts up two fingers and he says, both.
Yeah. And he switches back to Savage, which means he's able to communicate a lot easier, but only you understand him, okay?
Yep.
And he says, I was doing a ritual on the other set, making it alive. I need protection down here. Giving both would relieve that.
Is there anything else you could offer us? I gesture to Alistair and say, there's a wizard in our party. Perhaps a man of magic such as yourself could offer something to him.
Yeah, magic is coveted. I would not give magic so freely unless you performed the task and was successful. And even then, it is a tough ask. And he pauses for a moment and says, fine. I will allow your warlock take two books or scrolls from my bookcase. Any more, and the deal is off. The deal is off. Two.
Norman bows graciously, accepting the deal, and he looks over to Alistair and informs him that if we're able to make good on this deal, that he will be able to take two books or scrolls of his choosing.
Can I take a quick glance at the bookcase to evaluate if there's actually valuable knowledge in there?
Yeah, definitely. So you glance over at the books, and he says in common, look, no touch.
I'm not in agreement, and I don't touch anything. I just look. I know touching anything the wrong way could be dangerous with magical tomes, so I just check if there's useful magical tomes here, or if they're goblin scribblings that summon half a mushroom.
So a lot of the books here appear to be of use by the previous inhabitants of this temple. Unfortunately for you, Alistair, many of these books are mouldy and rotten. And you realise that whilst you may be able to pick one up, there is nothing stopping the book from when you open it, it all just like falling out. That's in how bad condition these books are. But there is one book that appears to still be in good condition, and the reason why is because it's one of very few books that's actually on the shelf, and it appears to have been made by, I don't know, with a better material, and it's a book that is called the I need to think of how I want to pertain this, but it says the Temple of the Sun.
The Temple of the Sun.
And it
Does
has,
that ring any bells? Would that be
roll me
a known
intelligence check, right?
intelligence? 14.
You get the impression that might be the temple that you're in right now. You did hear the priest that you came with before talking about how this is supposed to be a temple of Lathander. But you would only know if you took it.
Okay, so, well,
There's something-
I'm under the impression that this would be a very useful tome, at least for our endeavors here.
It might give you
So-
information about the temple itself.
Exactly. So I give a appreciative nod towards Ring, that I to convey that I appreciate his offer of granting me a book or two if we complete his task.
You get the impression that he definitely has magic, but he is keeping it probably in his desk. And I will say that there is actually on top of the desk right now a cheap leather-bound spellbook with a wand motif on the cover. And he has, as soon as you walked in, Norman, he slammed it closed. I think there's also a couple of other things. There's some writing supplies on the desk. There is a scroll. You don't know what it is, but it looks pretty big. So it's definitely not a spell scroll. I think, Alistair, you would know it might be a map scroll.
Can I see? Can I see? If I know like the condition of the armor?
The armor that you see flanking the room, they are in good condition. You could wear them. I mean, they're slightly rusted, so you would want to get them cleaned up if you got back to civilization. But they would function as well as any other set of plate armor would. Quite exciting, isn't it?
Okay.
Well then, is there any other information you have for us, or shall we be on our way?
And he obviously says this in Savage, in his language, so it's very easy for you to try and understand. And I actually will say this is quite intricate, and he speaks very quickly. So I want you to roll me an intelligence check, Norman, to see how much of this you understand. 7.
Oof.
So he says, "I have many warriors. You should kill the leader." Everything else that he says doesn't really make any sense, right? He speaks with a certain dialect, he speaks very quickly, and Duncan keeps kind of moaning and groaning, humming a song to himself, and it's kind of distracting, honestly. And he says, "He's upstairs. Get him."
All right. upper floors we go then. And I am going to make my way out the door and gesture for everybody to follow.
He rubs his hands together, kind of almost evilly, like as you guys leave the room and begin to move north. And Duncan kind of calls as, you know, he closes the door and you guys start moving up. He says, "So what are we gonna do? We've got to deal with both of them."
Well, at this point here, let's go back to the hyena room to kind of mask what we're talking about. So just don't say anything till we get there. I'm gonna lead everybody back to the hyena crates, and we'll discuss what we want to do there.
Okay, give me a second, please. Huh. So, with that in mind, you guys now, yeah, as you said, begin to move north. Can you guys please click on your tokens and just roll initiative for the tracker for me? Duncan's going to end his turn as you guys are kind of taking point. But as you guys start moving forward, suddenly a hyena comes into view. And noticing you, Norman, it now rushes towards you. You don't know what's going on, but you get the impression it must have broke out of that cage, and it's fucking hungry as it rushes towards you, leaps at you. Roll me a block check, please.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. That is a d6 points of damage. Roll it. You take 2 points of damage as the hyena begins to bite one of your legs. All you can do is panic as another one rushes out, goes north. Suddenly you hear commotion and shouting from hobgoblins as they are also panicking at the realization that one of the hyenas has escaped. Norman, what do you want to do?
I want to chop the hyena's skull and then basically tell everybody to move back and retreat to the room that we were previously in.
All right, roll me an attack. Nice, that hits. You do 5 points of damage and you just execute the hyena. It's dead. Are you sure you want to retreat?
On second thought, I think I'll continue moving up, I guess.
It's up to you. I want to leave it in your court. This is your experience, your game, but you've got the momentum now.
Yeah, I'm going to move up.
All right, move up. I think you thought they were probably harder to kill, but they're hyenas with spikes on their backs, basically. You can see that many of the crates are still closed. It seems only a couple of them were you know, kind of broken open. Maybe just one of them, actually, by the looks of it. That would be this one right here. End your turn.
First I'm gonna shout back at Isabel and say, take that thing's head before we move forward. I have an idea.
Isabel.
I'm gonna move up to it, take its head off, and then
Yep.
if I can, I'm gonna keep moving up to Norman.
Oh yeah. Level 1 now comes into view and goes for Norman. Roll me a block check as you defend yourself from this creature.
Aye.
Okay, a 9. That is gonna hit once again. That is another d6 points of damage.
I'm down.
You're down. So it now just comes out of nowhere, mounts you, and starts just, I mean, just rip apart your chest with its claws. Just rakes you. And all you, I mean, I imagine you just start shouting and screaming as you're trying to push the creature off you. Alistair, what do you want to do? Your turn?
There was no light in the hobgoblin room, right?
No.
I don't speak their language. Calling them for aid wouldn't make sense. I rush over here and I can't see the hyena, can I?
If you can't see it on your screen, then you can't see it. This way that I'm looking at
I
it.
see like maybe 1/5 of its token.
Then I would say that you could try and do it.
And then I would just try to magic missile it into oblivion.
Yeah, I don't see why magic missile couldn't like go around a corner. As long as you can see it, like you've got some sight of it, why not?
Yeah, I can see a part of it, like its back or something.
Yeah,
Or maybe
like
its shoulder as it's mauling Norman.
magic missile basically just like goes around cover, you know. Also, it's on Norman basically, yeah. Yeah, it goes off. You deal 1 point of damage. Still standing. Now at the top of the round, Duncan is going to rush forward. 10, 15, 20. Oh shit, he can't actually do enough. He's going to dash over here. And move a little bit further. Actually, no, I think he can stay there because Isabel's on the other side. That one's dead. You can hear lots of commotion from the northern room. They sound like they're fighting the hyena. Norman, I need you to roll me a d4 plus your con. Let's see what you roll. Two. What's your con?
My con is 0. I've got 2
Okay.
rounds to live.
2 rounds to live. Good to know.
Would you like me to roll a?
Yep. Roll a check now. Con save or con check. All right. Down to 1. Someone needs to try and stabilize Norman before he dies. There is also a hyena as well, and Isabel, it's over to you. The hyena is getting ready to attack again.
Can I use my action to swap places with Norman?
I definitely think you could, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Okay.
And that will be my turn.
The hyena goes for you. Roll me a blot check. DC is 11 for this. Double damage. That's 2d6 from the hyena. 4 points of damage. Alistair.
Yes, I want to try to get Norman back on his feet.
Okay. What are you going to do?
Try to cover his wounds with a piece of my robe or something, trying to stop the bleeding.
It's an intelligence check. DC's 15.
Intelligence.
Natural 20.
Yes!
Very nice. So you managed to stabilize Norman. He seems to be coming to. Unfortunately, it is not a natural 20 for Norman, so he doesn't kick up with 1 hit point. But, in the sake of keeping the game rolling, in 1d4 rounds, Norman, you will come to, and you'll be conscious again. So you can roll me a d4 for how many rounds it will take. 3 rounds. That is much better than being out of the game for the next couple of hours. Alright. Duncan's turn. You get away from my friends. Ugh. Gonna go for a swing. Using weapon, apparently. Is that what he's got? You're not named his weapons? Look.
I think he has a club attack.
Yeah, he has a club.
Well, he's not bloody done it. He's a city billy. Okay, I'm actually just gonna fix it for him right now because I can do that really quickly. Club. There we go. All right. Where were we? There you go. And he just smashes this hyena on the head and knocks it unconscious. Alright, where do we go? Are we going to go into the room? And he kind of peers in. I don't see any others. I think it's clear. With that in mind, Norman, you're now down to 2 rounds remaining. Isabel, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna walk in the room with Duncan. I'm gonna execute this hyena.
You're gonna execute it? The hobgoblins have been keeping them as pets. You sure you want to kill it?
Yeah, I don't want it to wake up and attack us later.
Well, you can see the crate that it was in. You could always... It's up to you. Do what you wish, but you could always, as an alternative, throw it into the crate. Up to you. Feel free to execute it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna risk it again. I'm gonna execute it and then finish walking in.
Twist the blade. It's dead. The torch has been left on the floor, just so you guys are aware. Do you want to pick up the torch, Isabel?
No, I have my shield.
Ah, okay. So you don't, and you want obviously want to keep your sword out. That's fair enough. Alrighty. So, with your turn kind of coming to an end, it's now your turn, Alistair.
Yeah, I move to pick up the torch.
Yep.
I think that would be wise.
Yep.
And yeah, I try to like drag or push Norman into the room.
You can roll me a strength check.
That will be highly successful. It's the 5.
Yeah, so you struggle to lift Norman. You're going to need somebody else to help you do that. Now Duncan's turn. I'm going to go get Norman. And Duncan comes back and kind of lifts up Norman and starts kind of carrying him into the room. By the end of next round, you are all in the room. And Duncan has got in with Norman as well. So yeah, all the other crates are still closed. It seems a couple of the hyenas managed to get out and break through their kind of the way in and out for them, one of the sides. But all the others seem to still be fully under control, and suddenly a hobgoblin now shows his face and immediately kind of lowers their weapon towards you guys, not being sure who you are and what you're doing here. He's got kind of a javelin in his hand, which he just grips with both hands, and he says, in Hobgobbish, in Savage tongue, "What are you doing here? You kill our pet?"
Can I
And
try to...
Duncan very quickly says, "I don't understand what I'm saying."
I've got one round left unconscious. Still,
He
right?
steps forward, and you guys don't understand what he's saying. What do you want to do, Alistair?
I want to make gestures, like gesture at the broken open crates and the hyena, and trying to show him that they broke out and attacked us, but trying to do it with gestures, because I don't speak his language and I assume he doesn't speak mine.
I like that, and you do exactly that. You kind of point to the crate, you point to the dead hyena, and you kind of show, you know, that you're not a threat to this hobgoblin. And the hobgoblin kind of lowers their javelin slightly. You gain a luck point, and the hobgoblin begins to speak as Norman, you now come to. You've got 1 hit point, you're on the ground, and as you wake up, you hear the sound in Savage tongue of a hobgoblin speaking. And he says, "Are you lot the mercenaries that are being hired?"
Oh, fuck. Oh, what's going on? And I look to the goblin, and do I catch that last little
Yeah.
bit there? Yeah. Very rude pets you have here. Ugh. And Norman like pushes himself to his feet and like holds his chest.
Very dangerous is what they are. And we like dangerous here. But you could have avoided killing them. They're our pets. We use them for fighting and breeding.
Well, then you can make more. Then I kind of like begin removing my shirt and like looking at my wounds and like push my just kind of look back at the goblin as say to him, "So, which one are you with?"
Me? And,
Yeah.
well, who are you with?
Sorry?
He says, "Who are you with?" He's flipping the question back onto you.
Look at him, just do I see anyone else around with him?
No, this is a 50-50.
I asked you first, and I kind of gesture to the room full of people here.
You trying to intimidate him?
Yes.
Roll me a charisma check. I'm with the warlock. What about you?
Oh, congrats. We're on the same side here.
Right.
We just met with your master here. Mind showing us around the place before we go and finish the deed here?
He kind of pauses and says, "I mean, that's not up to me. That'll be up to the boss.
I have a cleric on the surface. I need to go see them before I do anything else. Alright. You have a good day. I apologize for the death of your canines, but you should get those fucking locks fixed. And
Yeah.
I begin making my way up the steps.
Yeah, another hobgoblin kind of looks over the shoulder of the other one, and this one's got kind of long hair, long ponytail, seems to have a few more feminine features, bigger eyes, eyelashes, quite long, and kind of squinting looking at you guys. Yeah, sounds like a good idea, guys. Let's get out of here. Alright, so you guys all head to the surface. Oh, I've got you, don't worry. You head back to the surface, and more specifically to the room that you were, previously in, the one with the statue. It seems the secret passageway to the north has been closed, as if maybe the actual leader wants a bit of privacy. But you guys remember how to open it if you wish to. Do you guys want to go back to the priest?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Sounds like the wisest decision.
So you come back into into this kind of large temple hall, and that is exactly what this room is. You can see a kind of a bas relief on the wall, carvings of knights on horseback, and the pillars themselves have like blue motifs on cracked marble. And I will say, as you guys kind of like, I guess, Duncan, you kind of come up to Jamie, and so does Norman. Norman, obviously, you want to get healed. The rest of you guys just kind of wait your turn and look around. I'm going to have Jamie roll a check to see if she can actually pull off the heal. She didn't have very good fortune previously, if you remember. There we are. Okay. Wasn't able to access her sheet. Divine spell goes off. Lucky you. You get a D6. Let's go into Norman. He heals you for 3 points. Alistair, Isabel, is there anything either of you would like to do whilst Jamie's kind of healing Norman and patching you guys up?
I want to take a closer look at the reliefs on the wall to see if they give any information about this place.
Cool. Yeah. Roll me a intelligence check as you kind of look around on the walls. That's nice, man. That's very nice. So, unfortunately, some of the goblins have painted on the walls, and they're trying to paint like scary-looking images, like X's and skulls and stuff like that. One of them was drawn like a lightning bolt, just to kind of make this place look intimidating and scary for people who come in. But what you kind of see is what you get. This is clearly a temple to a human god. You think either Lathander or Helm, or maybe a god that kind of predates them, if that makes sense. Like a very early human god. You're not a priest, but Jamie seems to have been kind of studying this area, and she's been writing notes. What I will say, Alistair, is you notice that the motif on the pillars, like the design on the pillars, is slightly off pattern. At least 3 of them are.
Okay, does it look like they have been moved in some way?
Well, you go up to them. Do you start trying to manipulate them, or because the only thing I can really say is that they're off center. It doesn't like the picture doesn't look perfect, if that makes sense.
Then yes, I would like to see if I could move it in the right direction, but I'd like to wait with doing that until the rest of the group is done healing, before I set off some sort of trap or anger the hobgoblins.
Cool. Yeah. Jamie will go for another healing check. She fails. Does anybody have a luck point they'd like to use on her? So she can continue to heal? Or would you rather save them?
I'll spend my luck point, being that this is me getting healed.
She succeeds. Additional d6 points of health. Bringing me back up to 7 total. Later. Thank you. Yeah, so back up to 7. Maybe she goes for Isabel now.
Probably the smartest move.
She just succeeds. It's 10 plus 1. That is 5 points to you, Isabel. Brings you up to full. She unfortunately does fail. And it's whether you want her to re-roll, just so she can give you a couple of extra health, Norman, on a chance, or if you want to save your remaining luck points that you guys have available. I assume you don't want to roll it. So that's your health.
All right, I think that's decent enough. At this point here, perhaps we shall move back down to the hyena room and then discuss what we want to do.
Do you want to jump in, Alistair? Tell them what you've noticed.
Yes, well, as you were healing, I noticed that one of the pillars has a sort of
3 of them.
odd. 3 of them have this pattern on them that seems to be, well, one of them seems to be out of place, and I think if they might be movable or in some way could be manipulated. Perhaps it will open another secret room, or perhaps it will unveil something that might be of use for us before we head down again.
All right, show them to us, and I guess we'll start manipulating them and trying to put them back to the way they're supposed to look.
Yeah, Duncan's up for it. Both Norman and Isabel up for turning them. It probably will require a bit of strength.
Yeah, I will.
Alright. You guys kind of fan out. And Alistair, you kind of go around all of the pillars and you find, yeah, there are 3 of them that are off-center. And you guys start trying to manipulate them. And funnily enough, you can actually turn it and twist the design and try to straighten it up. And that's exactly what the 3 of you do. And once you've rotated each back into place, a floor tile to the south of Jamie pops up from the floor. I'll say,
To investigate.
Alistair, you kind of step in, seeing it first. You kind of move the tile out of the way. And what you see is a shield. And it is shining ever so brightly. It has a winged crown motif in the center. It looks
winged crown.
a winged crown. Yeah, so a crown with little wings on the side, little like celestial wings.
Do I recognize that crown? Is it a symbol that's also visible in other parts of the temple? Like, could it be associated with a god or something?
You look around the room, and it seems one of the knights that is depicted on the wall has that shield.
Okay, in that case, I'd like to do a quick sort of investigation of the shield.
Yeah. You glance it over, and you can feel something from it. You can feel magic from it. This is a magical shield that you found.
I don't have the identify spell prepared. Is that necessary, or can I
No.
also attempt a roll?
I don't think you have to have spells prepared, do you, as a wizard?
I mean, I didn't select it.
Oh, it's not a selected spell.
Yes.
Okay, well, you don't. That doesn't mean that it means you don't know it. You don't actually know the spell.
Exactly, but does that mean I also can't attempt to maybe with an intelligence roll try to figure it out?
No, you can't.
do I-
Yeah, you can't do what a spell would do. That makes sense.
Okay, now
A
that's
lot-
fair. I just
yeah.
was just curious. In that case, I hold up the shield towards our more fighting inclined folks.
Dibs.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So this, guys, you know, as Alistair kind of lifts it up from the exposed floor tile, is a magical silver shield. As I said before, it has a crown with wings as the motif in the center. It looks expensive. It looks magical, perhaps even powerful.
Norman picks the thing up and holds it over his arm and sees how it feels.
It feels light, and you immediately feel kind of this surge of adrenaline rush through you. It feels almost euphoric. The item itself is called Forbearance. I don't think there's an identify spell in Shadowdark. There might be, but I don't think there is.
Could you type that? Oh, yeah, you.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now. Don't worry. A wielder can once per day negate all damage from a single attack. That's what it does.
I like this thing. I like this thing a lot. It's other than that, it's just a normal shield.
It's just a normal shield. Yeah, there's no bonuses to armor class or anything like that. It's just a shield that allows you to basically be immune to a single attack. It's once a day. And I would argue that that can be an attack or a spell, either or.
Right.
So, with that in mind, with the shield now equipped and your wounds healed, you guys are looking ready to do whatever you wish. Do we get experience from it? Yeah, you do. And in fact, guys, you've gained enough to level up. Congratulations.
Yes.
It is
That's
worth
good.
5 experience points for each of you, which should hopefully bring you guys to the next level. It might even bring you a little bit over the next level, which means that your XP resets to 0, and then you add what's left over.
Since my previous character died, I'm 1 XP short, so I don't level up.
Oh, well, the rest of you guys do, which means that you can roll another hit dice, or you know whatever your character's hit dice is, your class's hit dice is, and you can add some more health. I will say, guys, that does not give you max health. it will just give you sorry, it does give you max health, but you won't gain that as well, if that makes sense. So you'll all be still at the same number you are, you'll just have a higher maximum. Does that make sense?
Yep.
8 plus d8. Ah, okay. Okay, I understand. I was confused for a second. So it'd be, if you had 8 hit points, you'd be 8 out of 11. There you go. You've gained 9, so that brings you up to 13. Alistair hasn't leveled, but Duncan has. I will roll. What's he, a fighter, I think? Oh,
Yeah,
do
he's
we
a
actually?
fighter.
We actually have 3 fighters.
Well, I'm a ranger.
Oh yeah, you are, aren't you? I rolled a 7. I'm sure he'll be very happy with that. There we go. He does actually have a luck point currently, Duncan does, so I gotta try and remember that. So, with that in mind, you guys are now 1 level higher. You're a bit more powerful, though you wouldn't really know it right now. I think for wizards, that does mean you gain an extra spell. Just so you're aware.
I believe it does.
Yep.
So when we find our next point of experience,
You'll be able to... I'm just telling you this so you can start thinking about it, right?
yes.
Alright, guys. Are you ready to leave? Or do you want to talk? Discuss anything? What are you thinking of doing?
Well, first, once everybody's done here, doing their level up, I think that Norman will just continue to say that they need to go somewhere where they can speak privately.
Well, one thing I will say is that a lot of the hobgoblins don't speak your tongue. And the 3 of them here, they're all just speaking Gobbo. I think at this point they're probably over here doing some graffiti on the walls. Not too focused on what you guys are saying nor doing.
Well, then I'd like to make my way to this corner of the room and start talking about what we want to do there.
So what's the plan?
Well, first we need to decide who we want to kill. You have that hyena head there, Isabel, yeah?
I close the door, so we might have less chance of being overheard from the other side.
I'm speaking very quietly. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah. Good. I'm not too sure, really. They both had good offers for us.
We don't really have. We didn't come with like any carts or carriages or anything like that, so we're probably not really gonna be able to move a whole lot of trade goods, like the other guy was offering us.
That's true. But it depends on what it is. There could be something highly valuable in those crates. We don't really know.
And I assume if we get rid of the warlock, we could also simply take some of what he has.
Both sets of armor.
Yeah. Do you want to know? On top of that, we can also like loot his spell book and take everything else. So maybe killing the warlock would be the best idea.
I would
Also,
also
I
assume it's
think
easier.
I also think this area would be a lot safer with the tribe in the hands of a cowardly chieftain than with a dangerous warlock at its head.
I agree. All right, so we're gonna get rid of the warlock. Now let's see. what I have in my pack. What spells do you have there, Alistair?
Mainly protective ones. I can protect myself from harm. I could protect one of you from harm, and I can blast some magical beams to harm an enemy. So basically, mage armor, protection from evil, and magic missile.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, when we go down there, gonna need to, probably best to cast mage armor on yourself and then cast, protection from evil on either me or Duncan or Isabel. And then, we will basically just take that hyena head. And does anybody here have like a sack or something that we can like put it in?
No. I believe you're the
No.
only one with a pack.
All right.
I do
well,
have a backpack, but it's holding all our food.
Is it holding anything else important?
This cockatrice egg we looted last time, and some torches, and my spellbook.
All right. Take your spell book with you and leave the rest of that up here. Maybe. Yeah, or maybe I can. Well, my backpack's full of goblin hands, so I'll actually we could probably use those too. So my idea is we take one of our backpacks, we stuff the hyena head in it, wait till it gets all like bloody at the bottom, and then we go in. One of us just goes up to the desk and like tosses it on in front of the warlock. One of us will like go pretend to go and take a look at the armor, and then we'll just jump them.
Interesting idea. It might just work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can go and pretend that you're like looking at the bookshelf on the other end, so you're not caught in the crossfire. Meanwhile, all the melee fighters, me, Isabel, and Duncan, can just take
what we do.
each one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is everybody happy with that plan? Any suggestions? Any pitfalls or caveats you see with it?
I'm not feeling too good, Norman. Have you got anything you can give me? Any tonic or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll give him a oh, whoops. Yeah, I'll give him a curative.
What? Okay. Roll it. Succeeds.
That's a success, and I believe it's equivalent to a potion of healing, and I believe that's a is he level 2 now?
He's level 2. Yeah.
I think that's 2d6 then, if I'm correct. I can look it up for you if you want. Here, I'll just I've got the book now. Finally came in.
You got the book. Very cool. I fuck with that. You said a potion of healing, right?
Yes, equivalent to a potion of healing.
Potion of healing level 0 to 3 is 1d6 hit points.
All right, then he gets 1d6 hit points.
It does scale though. It's every 3 levels. 0 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, and then 10 plus. Yeah, d6 please. Oh, I guess I can roll actually. It's fine. Oh, on a good roll. Duncan will use his luck point to re-roll it. That's better. I'll mark off his luck point. I'm sure he would agree with me if he's watching this.
Yeah,
Double the health.
I think he would too.
Double the health means he's not going to get one shot. Alright. And he says, "Oh, I'm feeling better now. That was a good drink. Yeah, I'm ready to go."
Alrighty.
Alright.
Yeah, I guess we will make our way back
Wait.
down to the.
What's his special weapon? Is his special weapon literally a club? Because I think it is.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
I
is.
think so.
Yeah, I'm like 100% sure it's just his club.
Yeah, weapon mastery is club. That's really interesting. Yeah, I didn't expect that. Yeah, I think he's ready to go then. I'm gonna very quickly look at his class and see if he gets anything from being level 2, because I think maybe there is something you guys get. Oh shit, so you get +1 to attack and damage rolls with that weapon type, and you add half your level to these rolls, rounded down. So now you're level 2, you add an additional +1 as fighters. That's good to know. That's +2, +2, +2. Nice. Done it. Alright, yeah. Ready to go.
Good, my boy. Good. All right. Let's make our way back down the staircase.
Cool. I'll just move you guys down. Or, yeah, so you guys open up the door. Head through to the other side. You quickly find yourself back in the other room. I'm just going to roll a check. And you now head downstairs. And as you guys come back downstairs, two of the hobgoblins are currently in the room and they're just kind of sealing up the crate again, making sure there's not going to be any issues moving forward. They both kind of nod at you as if you're doing, you know, you're doing the right thing. Though they are kind of confused why you're down here again. And one of them says, the one that you were talking to, "So did you get it done then?"
Norman pulls out a hobgoblin hand from his backpack and just waves it in the wind, and he simply says, "Done and done." His guards are still upstairs though, so I wouldn't recommend going back up there.
Cool. Luck point, and roll me a charisma check, please.
Alrighty.
Smart.
Rewarding smart behavior. 16. That is a success. They nod, smile, they seem excited and happy, as if it doesn't have to be a full mutiny after all. They allow you to pass, and you now make your way down to the southern door. Who wants to be at the front?
I will.
Norman just behind.
I want to go third. Yes.
Very cool. With that in mind, Isabel, you push open the door.
Wait, but before she
Okay.
does that, I'm going to empty my backpack of
Everything else.
pretty much everything except the goblin hands, and then I'm gonna take that hyena head from Isabel and stuff it in the backpack and shake it around until the bottom's all bloody. I'm just
Nice.
gonna leave everything else on the floor.
Roll me a dex check for stealth.
Okay. I get advantage on that, I believe.
Yeah.
One sec, I accidentally zoomed out way too far and I can't see where it is now. I'm just gonna reload the page.
No problem. There we go, now I've got the sheet now needed. Cool. When you're ready, please.
There we are. Dexterity. Alright, here we go.
Very good. It's at this moment, Alistair, the torch goes out.
I've got a spare.
Want to light it?
I do.
Okay, mark it off. You light it up. For some reason I
So-
don't have torches on here. Here they are.
We
There
have
we are.
only one torch left after this one.
Yeah, you're running out. So, you strike up the torch, hold it with one hand, and the other your staff or whatever, you know, thing you're
Yeah,
using.
my stuff.
And yeah, you've kind of rustled it around in the bag. You've made the bottom of the bag bloody, Norman. You guys are ready to go.
Does anybody have some rope before we get going here? I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Tie the backpack shut and make it like a really. Or Norman can, because I imagine he'd be good at this, being a ranger and all. He's just gonna
Yeah.
make like a really tight, complicated knot, so it's really hard to open.
I like it. Yeah, you tie it up.
All right, ready to go.
Ready to go. Actually, roll me a check for how dex check, please. Roll with advantage because I think this is something that a ranger would be really good at. I kind of want to set like a DC. That needs to be rolled in order to open it the first time. Okay, 15. 15's good. All right, good to go.
Alrighty. Let's walk on in.
You guys now kind of push the door open and head into the room. You guys see both of the guards, and they're a bit taken aback seeing you guys here. One of them kind of walks down, stands next to Rink, and Rink now looks at you all with delight as he puts his chin on his hands and looks at you mesmerized as if you've done it already. And he says, "So, what's in the bag?"
Norman holds up the hand again and kind of like waves it in the air, and he walks on over to the goblin and puts the bag on the desk and hands him the hand and tries to get him more like looking at the hand than anything else, as he kind of like nods to Isabel to get right up next to the other hobgoblin
So you-
guard.
So you're looking at Isabel and just kind of like knocking your head towards the other hobgoblin. Move up. I like that. And Rink, you know, is looking at the hand. He's looking at the bag. Do you put the bag on the table? Or not?
Yes, I put the bag on the table. Sorry,
So-
I keep
so
on forgetting I'm pushed to speak.
He puts his hands on the bag and begins trying to open it up. And he seems to be having some difficulty doing it. Yeah, he's not able to do it so far. And The hobgoblin guards are kind of like looking on, and one of them is smiling at you guys as if,
Let's
you've
jump
done
'em,
well.
Let's do it. Let's do it now. Let's do it now. I'm going to.
You going for it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it, and I'm going to try to gut him with my sword.
Hell fucking yeah. You guys have a full surprise round. You can roll initiative for me. Just set up the tracker. Alright, Norman, you're first. You're gonna gut him with your sword.
Does that do it?
17 hits. You deal 7 points of damage to the warlock. He is not dead though, as he recoils back from his desk after you try to lunge, but instead slice him on the side of his torso, kind of where his ribs are. It's a cut, not an actual piercing wound, and he panics now as the rest of your group are reacting too. Isabel, it's over to you. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna draw my sword and I'm gonna swing at this hobgoblin.
Go for it. That hit. 3 points of damage. That's a wound to him as well. Alistair, what do you want to do? I didn't roll for Duncan, but it doesn't matter. I'll just have him act. It's still a surprise round.
Before we go full defensive mode, I just magic missile the hobgoblin, hopefully doing some serious damage.
Go for it.
So, oh fuck.
Hell,
That's just
fuck
one.
it. 1 point of damage. At least it goes off, right? At least it succeeds.
At least it goes off.
Alrighty. It's now Duncan's turn, and Duncan's going to swing with his club on the one to the north. He hit 4 points of damage. And it's now the start of the combat. Rink now grabs hold of his book with one hand. His eyes begin to swirl with dark magic, and he's about to cast a spell on you, Norman. What do you want to do?
I would like to kind of move myself between the. You wanna know? I'm just going to full on try to hit him with the sword again and raise my shield in hopes that I'll be able to block him look at me.
Go for it, man. 6. You go for a swing, and he ducks as he now
I'm gonna
extends.
use my luck point.
Oh, okay. Roll again. And as he
Nice.
ducks, you swing down with the trajectory and slice him in the side. 6 points of damage. He is still alive, but he is now bloodied badly. His other 2 henchmen now react. One striking at Isabel. Block check, please. He draws a bastard sword and swings overhead and down towards you. His bonus, so it's 11 plus 2, so it'd be a 13. He hits you, and you take a D10 damage. Roll it. That's a lot of damage. 3 points of damage. That is a big weapon and a big swing. You are lucky to still be alive right now. The other one goes for Duncan. Will I kill a player whilst he's not here? You bet you're right. You bet your ass I would. Three points of damage. Don't miss a session. It's now Rink's turn, but it's also Isabel's turn. Isabel, I'd like you to roll me a d20. Who's going to act first? You or the Warlock? You see the Warlock about to cast a spell on Norman. It looks... I mean, I don't think you've probably ever seen magic before apart from Alistair's. You don't know what this Warlock could do. What do you want to do, Isabel?
I'm gonna push over to where the warlock is, and I'm gonna attack him.
So you can't push past the hobgoblin, so do you, like, lunge over the desk?
Sure.
Very cool. So you kind of leap over the desk. Go for it. 13 hits. That's his health. How do you finish him?
Yeah, so I imagine I just roll over the desk because he's about to cast the spell, and just at that moment, I stab him through the back of the head through his mouth.
And yeah, so he puts up his hands, die, and as the blade just goes exactly straight through the back, through his mouth, and his men just look startled, in shock. But they do continue to fight. Duncan's turn. Oh, I need some help here. He's going to swing his club at the one to the north. Oh, that's a really good hit from Duncan. And he actually manages to knock one of them out. He says, never mind. Alistair.
Yeah, I just tried to finish off the other one.
Go for
I
it.
think we can manage this. Always 1 damage.
It is always 1 damage for you, isn't it? Rip,
At least
bro.
it hits.
It does definitely
Hopefully
hit.
it scares him.
It's a very scary spell. Is it always just 1 dart? One
Unless it's a natural 20, I believe
think so. I have the spell list open. Magic missile. A glowing bolt of 4 streaks from your open hand, dealing 1d4 damage to 1 target.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I just wanted to make sure. Good to know. Norman, the other remaining hobgoblin, is looking for a target. You know, he brings up his sword. He's getting ready to try and finish off Isabel. What do you want to do?
I am going to move over. And I would like to smack again strike him with my elvish short sword.
Go for it, man. Oh, that does miss. That does miss. Now his turn. And I like the idea that as you he goes to swing at Isabel, you swing towards him and you kind of parry his swing, and he now kind of pushes you back ever so, for about a foot or two, and then brings back his weapon and goes for a big swing on you, Norman. Roll me a block check, please. DC is well, that does hit you. Roll me a D10 for damage.
Okay. So with my shield,
you want to
how
use
does
it?
this ability work? Yeah, if I can use it now, I'd like to use it.
You may negate the damage from this, but it's once a day.
Do I get to see what the damage is before I choose to negate it, or is
Yeah, I'll allow you to look at the damage.
Okay. Yeah.
2 points.
No, I'll take it.
2 points of damage. Very good. So he kind of slices you in the side. The shield, unfortunately, doesn't kind of apparate to defend you. But that is the end of his turn. Rink is dead on the floor. Isabel, it's your turn.
I'm gonna try to finish off this hobgoblin.
Go for it. Hits. 3 points of damage. Duncan's turn. He runs in. Club swing. And he knocks the hobgoblin unconscious. The combat is over. Well done.
All right. Well, mission successful. I'm going to start carving off the goblin's head, and then I'm going to start trying to put on one of these suits of armor.
I'm gonna do the same.
I want to take the, what's it called? The Temple of the Sun or something? The book?
I mean, you can do that, or you can run over to his desk and grab that fucking spell book that's resting there. Up to you. You can take both, to be fair.
Yeah, that I kind of wanted to do both, but since I was
Yeah.
standing next to the bookcase, so
You're
I
like,
chose not to
yeah,
grab both.
I guess I deserve it. So yeah, you take the book from the bookcase and pop it into your bag. You can put temple book into your
Temple book.
inventory. Keep it simple, right? And yeah, you now start looking at the spell book, but you're not going to add that to your inventory yet. For Norman and Isabel, you guys now start no other like apparent focus or need. You guys just start putting on the armor that's here, and trying to see if it kind of fits you. And fortunately, these sets are similar in size. They will need to be refitted to make sure that they're very comfortable on you. But I mean, it's very cheap in comparison to just buying a set of plate armor, from scratch. That would fit you.
Can we equip them for now, or are they just too unsized for us at the moment?
I'd say you can equip them, but I don't think it would give you the full effect. That's not me trying to be mean. That's me trying to represent the armor. There's probably gaps and holes, because it's not fitted for your size, if that makes sense. There are weaknesses in the armor because it's either too big or too small for you.
All right. What would the bonus be then?
Okay, well, plate armor is AC 15, so I would say this is AC 14 currently. It does require 3 gear slots to be able to equip. Be aware of that, guys.
I'm gonna give Duncan my chainmail.
Oh, thank you, miss. I don't think it will fit me, but I'll keep hold of it and get it refitted. All right. I'm gonna add that to his.
Does Duncan have a shield?
He has a crude shield.
Oh,
But
okay.
it does work as a shield. Alright, so you guys are kind of equipping yourself, and whilst this is going on, Alistair, you're kind of looking at the books, looking at what you've kind of found here so far, and he has a spell book. I'm sure that's pretty obvious already. I'm just looking up very quickly what they are. Here we are. Okay, cool. So it contains the following spells: Detect Magic, Featherfall, and Magic Missile.
Okay, detect magic, featherfall, magic missile. So how does this work exactly? Can I learn spells from them? Can I?
As a mage,
how does it work?
Yeah, so as a mage, you're actually able to learn magic from scrolls and stuff like that. It's kind of like the big thing that you guys can actually do. So I think you can cast magic from the scroll, or if you're a wizard, you can learn from it, basically.
You can permanently learn a wizard spell by studying it for a day and succeeding on a DC 15 intelligence check.
Indeed.
That's what the
That
class
that
description says.
that sounds pretty good to me.
So basically, next time when we're in town or something and we have a day to spare, I can study these spells.
You may, yeah.
Awesome. I'll write it down.
It does say whether you succeed or fail, you expend the spell scroll. So unfortunately, you have one shot to actually learn it. But the good thing is about this system, which I'm sure you're starting to realize, guys, is that spell scrolls and magical items are quite plentiful. So if you don't learn it this time, you might learn it in the future.
Yes. And
Yep.
does he still have anything in the drawer of his desk?
It's a good question. I believe he does. So you kind of like, start like tipping out or just opening the drawers that are in here. So he's got writing supplies. He's got a map of the burrow and the mines. He has the spellbook that I referred to as well. Those are the things that are in there.
Alrighty. How much XP is all this worth?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say it is worth probably about 10 experience points.
I'll take it. That's damn good.
That's level 2 for me.
The rest of you guys, obviously, you have to get to 20 now. That's kind of your big thing. So what would you guys be on now? Like 12 out of 20?
Well, that's 1 extra HP.
13 out of 20.
Is that the same for you, Gia?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was filling out the bastard sort of information.
How many points of experience do you have?
I have 3, but I didn't add anything from this room.
Very cool. So you got 10 more now.
That would put me at 13 out of 20.
Yeah. Just thought I'd let you guys know.
Alright, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break. I'll be right back.
Yep. We can take a couple of minutes break here now, guys, if you want to quickly go to the bathroom, and then we'll continue. I'll have a look at the chat quickly and see if anybody's left anything. Yeah, guys, they managed to do it. How the fuck? I will say, guys, that worked out. If the warlock had managed to get a spell off, that could have got messy.
Loki, do you have any objections against the light spell?
I mean, if it's a spell that you can learn, then feel free to learn it.
Yeah, I actually want to try detect magic, but since I could learn it from the book, I think I'll choose light, since it's a magical wizardy thing I could do more often.
Yeah. Light
So
is
I'll
very
pick
useful.
light for my next spell.
Hell yeah, man.
Also leaves me with a free hand instead of a torch.
That's true,
Just
yeah.
Cast light on my staff and be like Gandalf in Moria.
Exactly. Exactly. I think it's, especially in Shadowdark, it's very useful to actually be able to do that. Isn't it? Good girl. The big question now, guys, is what to do next.
Collect our reward.
Yeah.
Just become full-on mercenaries for this goblin tribe. Make a living
Get
like
back
this.
to town and re-up. Because I think we need supplies, and it'd also be nice to, like, refit any gear and stuff like that.
I mean, we do now have a book about this temple, and we have a map of the mine thing here, so we could study those while we're in town and plan our next expedition here.
And that might be enough information for the guys that we came with.
Exactly.
That's
Because I know they said that they just needed to come back with something.
some sort of evidence, some sort of proof, so it's not just hearsay. But bringing back
Well,
like magical items and books and stuff,
I'm back.
that's kind of enough, right?
I'm gonna step out.
exactly.
I'm gonna step away for a second.
Okay.
I don't have enough room in my inventory to take the writing supplies with me, so I'll just leave those here.
Fair enough.
Actually,
sec.
writing
What?
supplies are included in my spellbook starting equipment gear thing.
Yeah.
I already have writing supplies, so yeah, I'll just leave those.
Are writing supplies typically like a rare commodity? Would they be like worth a decent amount?
I don't think so. Wouldn't be worth
Okay,
a
then.
lot.
Then let's leave them there.
If you're thinking like in terms of like treasure, yeah, it's not equivalent to treasure, unfortunately.
No, just thinking of like something I could like sell once we get
Nah,
back. to town.
I think its value really for an adventurer would just be it to be able to like write and make letters and stuff like that. And obviously write new spells into your spell book, which is assumedly what Alistair will be doing.
Okay. Once everybody gets back, I suppose we shall get over to the noblemen, take our reward, and then get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, sounds good. So, with the armor equipped, you guys, what do you want to do with the goblin's body? Hobgoblin's body.
Well-
Are you planning to bring evidence?
I'm going to take the head and
Yeah.
toss it into my backpack
Yeah.
at the bottom of my backpack.
Sounds good. It'll take a little while to don the armor, and I just need to really quickly just check how long exactly it would take. Doesn't really say. It doesn't make. There's not really any reference actually of where how long it would take. But I know from like it would take probably a number of minutes.
If I have, you have to have help to get plate armor on, especially the upper layers. But it takes me about like 10 to 12 minutes to get my armor on.
Cool. Okay, then I'll just do one check to determine if anything happens. Okay. So you guys are not interrupted whilst you're doing this process. You manage to strap on the plate armor, put your shield back on and everything. Pick up the swords as well if you wish, and you're ready to move out.
Alrighty. Yeah, I suppose we should start getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So for sake of purpose, I just rolled a quick check to see if anything would happen, but you guys now make your way back into room 9 and to the surface. It's there that you wait for a moment before revealing the secret passageway to the leader's kind of relaxing place, is where he likes to chill out. And for sake of purpose, guys, we'll kind of do theatre of the mind for this, if that's okay. I'm going to bring you guys
Sure.
actually back to the main screen.
Yep, absolutely.
Do this one here. Very good. Oh god, wrong. This is from the one shot. Let me get rid of them. Let's drop your tokens onto the screen. Alright. Lovely. So, you guys now walk in. You find the very same hobgoblin leader with the crown on his head, resting. And, I mean, it's fair to say, guys, I mean, I didn't really give you much of a description of the room that he's in, but it appears to be a crypt of some sort. There are coffins in this room on either side, and they both appear to be open. And whilst this conversation goes on, and I will roleplay it for you guys, you are able to glance in and you do see that there are, you know, knights kind of in skeleton looking knights kind of in each of these that have been put to rest. And there's a couple of like little hobgoblins in here. One of the ones obviously that you've already met, but there's another one in here too. And they're both just kind of looking at you guys quite surprised, amused perhaps. And the boss says, "And look what the hyena has brought back in. You lot have come back. Have you done what I asked?"
Norman opens up his bag and digs through the bottom of it and pulls out the head and tosses it onto at his feet.
"Oh my fuck. You managed to do it." "Fuck his mutiny." And the other goblins are laughing, you know, they find it real funny. "Oh, I'm in your debt, adventurers. You've proven yourself to be great mercenaries." And he nods and he says, "A deal's a deal. I'll stand by it. You want your reward?"
Norman just like smiles and nods to him, giving like a slight like bow towards him.
Roll me a charisma check. I was gonna have you roll anyway, but it's a good time.
One sec.
18.
18.
And he looks at you guys and notices that you're wearing different armor. And he says, "Seems like you guys got kitted out down there. Good for you. Right." And he now points to one of his servants and says, "Nabs, you lead them to the lady. Tell her that, you know, they've helped out. They've took care of that pesky warlock, and they should be able to get their fill. Understood?" "Yep." He kind of nods. "You lot, come with me. I'll take you to the lady."
I imagine we follow.
Yeah, so you guys are taken... Instead of back downstairs, you're actually taken to the far side of the temple room that you guys were like originally in, the one where Jamie is in. There's another stairway on the eastern side, okay? And you guys head down that staircase instead. As you guys reach the bottom, you quickly find yourself in a room with a couple of hobgoblins. They look at you with kind of amazement. I mean, it's not every day they see, like, you know, human mercenaries walking on around. You know, they look like fighters. They look like they could probably give you a bit of a scuffle, but that's not what they do. From this point, they take you kind of to the corridor to the left, and they take you north, and they take you to a secret passageway at the end of a corridor. Through that a room is revealed. And as you guys look in, you see a hectic cargo area full of crates and humans bustling about. They seem to be supervised by a woman with a bandana on her head. She's got quite frizzy, dark hair and a very strong, stoic demeanor about her. She's kind of got resting bitch face, is the way I would probably describe it. She seems very bossy. She's got her hands on her hips. And as soon as she sees you guys, she says, "Who are you lot? What are you doing here?" Who wants to respond?
We were hired by your boss.
He's not my boss.
Well, your partner then. Regardless, he's promised us a fill of whatever we can carry down here.
I don't think I like your attitude. First you say I'm a subordinate, now you want to take the stuff that we've got.
Well, it's what we've been promised for. It's what we've been paid, and frankly, we just saved your partner up there, so I've had a quite a long day. I don't mean to be rude. We just need to take our reward, and we'll get out of your hair.
Roll me a charisma check. She sighs and says, "Well, we got a lot of crates here, and you're not taking all of them. Pick something and take it. One of them. No more."
I have a look around.
Yeah, let's check what they have on offer.
So, there are spices here, textiles, porcelain, herbs, there's furs as well as dyes, tea, and glassware. Some of these things are pretty expensive. What do you guys want to take or investigate? I'm just giving you the base information at the moment.
I'm going to see if I can determine what's the most valuable out of all these trade goods.
That's an intelligence check. You can't figure that out, but maybe somebody else could.
I'd also like to have a look around.
Alright, so the two of you look around. Along with Isabel and Duncan too. I need to roll for the most expensive ones just to kind of get an idea of how many of each there are. Okay? That's really interesting. Okay, so in terms of the most valuable, I will say the things that are valuable here. Okay, for those of you, especially Norman, you've kind of figured this out. You've been a caravan guard in the past, so this is, you know, pretty easy for you to kind of discern. Textiles are worth a lot of money, used for a lot of different purposes, and they seem to be in good condition still. Porcelain is very valuable. The furs are very valuable too. Dyes are, but not as valuable as the other things. And the last thing that is valuable is the glassware. Now, if you're talking about quantity, the largest quantity is textiles. But you get the impression, guys, that carrying one of those crates would be pretty heavy. You would need 2 people to carry it, and you would have to carry it all the way home. But it would be the biggest payday.
If something happens to those and we drop them, though, they're gonna be completely fucking worthless. Why don't we take the... I feel like the furs might be the safest bet, so let's see here. If we, do you want to take the textiles or the furs? Textiles, more money. Furs, probably the safer bet.
I'm putting in how many of each you guys are able to kind of discern from looking around.
I lean towards textiles, especially in this warm area. I think those would sell better than furs.
All right.
Textiles is the most valuable thing here. You get the impression that each one of the textiles would be worth about 10 GP.
Okay. Yeah, you want to let's take the textiles. That's 1100 gold right there.
I agree.
Well, it'll be 111. 100 and,
My
110.
bad.
110.
You know what I meant.
110 gold. Alright, so you want to take the crate?
Yes.
Right, so Duncan lifts one side. Norman, you lift the other. Ugh. Trixie kind of rolls her eyes and says, well, if that's it then, be gone. Don't come here again.
Good day to you too, madam. Good day.
And she
I
points...
begin-
Yeah, and she actually doesn't point for you to leave the way you came. She just points towards the mine shaft that's on the other side of the room. You get the impression that they have, like, you know, that's their way in and out. So they don't really seem to use the secret passageways. So she just
don't
points.
worry. We've got our own way up. Thank you though.
So with that in mind, you guys now begin to make your way from whence you came. You go past some of the hobgoblins and go back up the stairs. You've got to be really careful. The crate is very heavy and it's very tiring to lift, but you manage to make it to the top. With that in mind, you find yourself back in the main hall of the temple, and you reconvene with the priestess who has accompanied you this far. You talk to her about what you experienced down there, and Alistair, you mention about your book. She seems interested, and she says the following. I would be really interested in reading the book on the way back to the town, if that would be okay.
Sure. No problem.
And she smiles. Thank you. I've come so far and I've been looking for this place, but I know there is more to this place than what it seems. I know it, and I imagine the secrets could be in this book. So with that in mind, you guys...
Give her the book for now, so she can read it as we travel.
Hell yeah. You now find yourselves reaching the surface, and you reconvene with the two men who hired you on this expedition. It's been a while since you guys first left the safety of Dusthaven and began to travel north to Sunstone. You were captured by greenskins and then managed to gain your freedom. And now you find yourselves victorious. You've managed to, perhaps not the most heroic deed, but you have managed to gain a sizable income, new equipment, and a feeling of triumph over these monsters. You've managed to fool them and get a lot out of them as well. But the two men now stand before you both. As kind of previously forementioned, these men are almost polar opposites of themselves, of each other, even. And Miles is giving you guys a smile, and George is kind of standing there with a scowl. Miles is the kind of fat, friendly, Prospector, and George is the one who's a bit more. He's tall and lanky and quite gaunt, and he speaks very posh, sophisticated. But Miles says, "Oh, I'm so glad you lot are safe. And look at your gear, your armor. Wow, you must have found quite a lot down there. Is it enough for the Lord?"
Who has the map again?
I have the map, so I produce the map and show it to them.
He looks at the map and says, You've found it. This is what we need. This will get the Lord on side, I'm sure of it. And then maybe we could do something again. Maybe we could do something bigger. Maybe we'd have backing."
Also, there's bandits here who are taking trade goods, so the Lord would have an interest in dealing with this.
Yeah, there are bandits on the roads. They do fight against the greenskins, but are you telling me that they're working with them?
That's where we got these
Absolutely.
textiles from.
He seems really confused by this and says, "Oh, I don't know what to say to that." "It does sound concerning," says George. "I think we need to head back at once. We are starting to run out of supplies, and it is very dangerous out here. Are you lot ready to leave?"
I think we are.
For now.
Indeed, for now.
Well, now. Okay, so you guys can begin to make your way back to civilization. Let me quickly just get some reference for this. As you guys are going to be traveling through the hexes, I need to know exactly what could happen, because obviously I got some random encounter stuff. Okay, very good. Alright, good stuff. So I would like the navigator to please roll me an intelligence check. Whenever you're ready. I think it's you, Norman, right?
10.
10. You now move down from the greater hills to the lower hills as you work your way towards Sunstone. You retrace your steps as best you can, trying to avoid any conflict. But the area itself is dangerous, and the heat is incredibly powerful. Fierce, even. I'd like each of you to roll me a con check, as you've been adventuring, you've been fighting, and now two of you are in plate armor. You're sweating a lot. Let's see how your bodies react to what is going on here. Right. So, Alistair is the only person who fails. So, Alistair, you're not feeling particularly great. I need to actually roll for Duncan. So let me just really quickly do that. He roll as well. You're not feeling particularly great. You've got -1 to all tests now, moving forward, until you guys are able to return to the keep. The keep shouldn't be too far away. Nice.
Okay,
Smart.
let's press on then.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay. Just checking something really quickly to see if this is actually appropriate, and I think it makes sense. Alrighty, so with that in mind, the day rolls by and eventually it begins to go dark. You guys now set up a camp, wood is brought, and you guys rest for the evening. You guys go on watch. The area out here is risky. Let me roll some d6s to see if anything is going to happen. Okay, we have an encounter. Okay. Pretty cool. Let me have a look at what we have available to us right now. So, you guys now find yourselves moving through the lowlands. It is very uneven terrain. You're having to move up a hill, then down a hill, then up a hill and down a hill. You're climbing over rocks. You're scaling short, sheer cliffs. And you're working together as a group to get that crate back to town. But it is exhausting, you guys. And you find a moment of peace and relaxation as you find this big cluster of rocks. It provides some cover, and for a moment you guys now rest and take a break. It's here obviously that you guys set up your camp, you begin your rest, and during the night you start to hear sounds around you. Isabel and Norman, the two of you are on watch, and hearing these sounds, you begin to feel a bit nervous. Swords are drawn, weapons prepared. You wake the rest of the party as you see figures looking down at you guys from the cliff. That's not too far away. It's probably about 30 feet or so away. What they are, you're not too sure, but it definitely don't look friendly. It could be hobgoblins. It could be orcs. What do you guys want to do?
I guess we could, well, Isabel, do you have any suggestions? Otherwise, I'm just gonna shout at them to piss off.
Are they in front of us or are they behind us?
They're kind of up on the high ground, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's behind us or in front of us. If you're referring to like the way that you need to go, they're to the side of you.
We should keep pushing on. If you, but
No, you're resting. You're the people are sleeping.
oh, I
around
see.
you.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything then. I'm just gonna draw my sword and be ready.
Yeah, I shout to everybody. I'm like, everybody, we've got company. And try to wake everyone up. And I'm gonna look over up at these guys and be like, we're heavily armored. We're heavily armed. Piss off or die.
Roll me a charisma check, please. There's a pause. Creatures seem to watch quite closely and quietly before suddenly one of them lobs a javelin. Roll me a block check, Norman. Let me just check the range. 35 feet. I'd say you've got advantage on the block check. How do you dodge it or defend yourself from the javelin?
I'd like to take my new shield and just bash it out of the way.
Okay, I'm gonna very quickly just set up a couple of tokens, guys, and then I'm gonna bring you guys to the map. Okay. Okay, that'll be a campfire. Because remember, guys, it is actually dark right now, so you guys can't see very well. Yeah, that works for me. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, cool. With that in mind, I'm going to bring you guys to the map, and then I want you to click on your tokens, and I want you to roll initiative, right?
That's not good.
That's for Jamie. Oh, you rolled a natural 1. Yeah, that isn't good. You haven't been able to rest yet either. This is like the first day of rest. Alrighty, one hobgoblin is going to move in a position. Very clearly it's them. You don't know who they are. If they're part of the same faction or tribe. There are many hobgoblin clans. It could always be a different one, but it could be the same. One of them's going to throw a javelin in, and they are going to target Duncan with that. So I'm going to roll a block check on the behest of Duncan. It hits him. Let me just check the damage of that.
D4.
Is it a D4? I want to make sure of that, if you don't mind. Give me a second. It is a D4, you're right. Well, lucky him. If it was a D6, it rolled max, he would have been down. He's got 1 hit point right now. As the javelin hits him in the shoulder. This one's going to dash. Get to here. It's now Jamie's turn. I have no idea what spell she has available. I'm going to very quickly have a look. She's already used her Cure Wounds and she failed. Unfortunately, she does not actually have any spells that are useful in this situation apart from casting Light, which she will try to do. And she fails. Alistair, over to you.
I get quite scared by the hobgoblin that appears in front of me, so I want to magic missile him in the face.
14, 2 points. Nice.
And I'd like to move back a bit,
Very cool.
since I'm quite fragile.
20, 30. This one gets here. It's going to lob a javelin towards Norman. Roll me a block check. Oh, nice. So, I'm going to, for flavor, on this natural 20, Norman, if you're happy for me to come up with this for you, he throws a javelin at you, and you catch it.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Do you want to throw it back? I'll give you it as a free action.
Absolutely.
Throw it back. Roll me an attack, basically. Doesn't really matter how you do it. D20 plus your strength. Yeah, just so you guys know, those of you who are watching this stream, if players roll a natural 20 on their block check, it means that they do a perfect block, and it usually means they get to be heroic in some form. And in this instance, Norman, you throw the javelin back, actually hits the hobgoblin, and you can roll a d4 for how many points of damage you're going to deal. 1 point, so it slices the side of his face. Think Xerxes from 300. Doesn't kill him, but just misses, narrowly misses, like actually just one-shotting him. It's over to Duncan. I'm not feeling so good. What do I do with this javelin? And Duncan just like runs away, holding, like hyperventilating as he's kind of like nursing this javelin that's sticking out of his shoulder. Of a hobgoblin. Oh, you know what? These other hobgoblins are going to throw their javelins with disadvantage against you guys. They're going to stay at range. One of them's going to throw right now. It's about roll me a d20 and see if you go first before this hobgoblin does. 15 to beat. He goes first. He's going to lob a javelin towards Norman. Norman, you've got advantage on your block check. Block checks are simple for people who are watching. It's basically a d20 plus the bonus to their armor class that they would get after 10. So if they've got 16 AC, oh, I think in this instance you guys have got like 14 or 16, right? If you got 16 AC, it's a +6 to that d20. So Norman's rolling a d20 +6, and if he can roll higher than the DC, that is it's 11 plus the to hit bonus of the enemy, then he manages to block. Meets it, beats it, and in this instance, Norman, 12. Let me quickly just check to make sure. Hobgoblins, they have a +1. That means it's DC 12. You managed to block it. Just. Now Isabel's turn.
I'm gonna come and charge at this hobgoblin, and I'm gonna swing my bastard sword at him.
Very good. Go for it. How do you execute the hobgoblin?
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna cut him in his leg, and I'm gonna have a deep cut, and when he goes down, I'm gonna stab him through the throat and kick him off with my sword.
Fucking nice. Anything else?
Yep, I'm just gonna move back here to protect the guys. Hold on, let me just measure something real quick. I'm gonna move there.
Alright. Yeah, hobgoblin's gonna throw a javelin targeting Norman. You got advantage on your block check. You block it. Very nice. It's now your turn, Norman.
Alrighty. I would like to... Let's see here. I'd like to... 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah. I'll move up here and I'll try to stab the hobgoblin with my new bastard sword.
Yeah, so obviously he's in dim light. It's kind of hard to see him, but you swing, go for a strike. Yeah, and how do you finish him?
I'd like to put my sword through his mouth and then lop off his head, Shadow War style.
Oh, yikes. With this happening, the hobgoblin behind kind of screams at you and says in Savage, "You will pay for what you've done. You and your kind will rot." And he now turns and runs.
I yell at him in Savage. You better run, you fucking cowards! Norman Green Tongue owns this land.
Nice. Alistair, is there anything you'd like to do?
Only that one. Do the other ones seem to be running away?
They haven't moved yet.
Okay, I just want to cast protection from evil on Isabel to make sure it's harder to hit her.
Yeah. Goes off. She's under the
Okay.
effects. So she can put a shield on herself. You can put a clock on you to represent that you've got a focus spell. And it's now the turn of Duncan, who's not going to do anything, role-playing him as being very heavily injured with a javelin protruding from his chest. He's going to end his turn, and it's now over to this hobgoblin here. He's going to throw a javelin at you, Norman. Standard. Oh, on a natural one, that is equivalent to a monster's crit. So that's going to be 2d4 damage to you, Norman. Which you can roll. I like to have players roll their damage. They choose what happens. They roll what happens to them, not me. You take 4 points of damage, which you can mark off. So I like the idea that it kind of like hits you in the side of your leg, but it's from like, because he's throwing it downwards, it slices like your tendons, and you immediately kind of drop to one knee as you're struggling to actually put weight on your foot right now. Maybe it's the shock, maybe it's the angle. I don't know. It really hurts. It really, really hurts. I'm going to say, moving forward for the rest of this combat, you've got half speed, Norman.
Come down here and face me, you fucker!
Nice. He's going to pull back. Isabel, anything you'd like to do? There is still one hobgoblin who's got a... He's up on a cliff. You can't hit him.
Can I start climbing the cliff?
It would be difficult. If you fail, you will hurt yourself.
It's a strength test.
It is a strength test.
Yeah, I'll start climbing.
Alrighty. Roll me a strength test.
Do I have advantage?
I think the idea of grit is you're supposed to have advantage on either strength or dex checks, so yeah, why not? I mean, either way, you succeed. So you start climbing, and as you kind of get like halfway up, it's the hobgoblin's turn now, and he's just going to try and throw a javelin at you. Hard to climb and defend yourself, so I want you to do a block check with disadvantage.
What does protection from evil do?
Oh, so that'd make it standard. 13. It misses. It shoots, whizzes by. I think it just it probably just ricochets off your plate armor. Actually, that makes sense. And the hobgoblin's going to turn and run away. By the time you reach the top, Isabel, all three hobgoblins have managed to escape into the darkness. Combat is over. All you guys can hear is Duncan wailing in pain, with a javelin protruding from his chest. The combat's over. And two of the hobgoblins lay dead.
I'm gonna check the hobgoblin bodies for any valuables, and then I'll leave it from there.
You can roll me a treasure check, and Isabel can roll me one for the other one.
That's a D6, right?
You should have on your sheets a treasure hunt roll available. So if you both do that, I'm pretty sure the rule is if you roll a 4, 5, or 6, you get something. So Isabel, you get to roll a D100 to see what you find. Worth mentioning that if you fail to find something on the body, that means that the body does not have something on it. So obviously, I'm sure you guys already know that, but just for reference, it doesn't mean that you keep rolling until you get something, if that makes sense. But yeah, level 1 treasure, 75 is what you rolled. A silver and gold circlet. It's worth 40 gold pieces. And I would say 1 experience point, which you can add to your sheets. Other than that, Jamie kind of helps Duncan with the spear and binds his wounds as best as she can. The rest of you guys return to camp, having killed the hobgoblins, and it seems the others have all kind of fled, knowing that you're not going to be able to, well, they're not going to be able to best you this day. But it seems like there are definitely still like very hostile hobgoblins in this area. Who knows what they're going to do moving forward. That in mind, unless there's anything else you wish to do, we can proceed. Okay. So with that, yeah.
Yeah. Are we gonna at the start of the next dawn? Are we gonna roll on our hit die to regain
Correct.
hit points?
Yeah. So with that in mind, yeah, the night now rolls by, and you guys are feeling recovered. You may roll your hit dice, which will be 2d8 or 2d6, 2d4, whatever it is. You may roll it and see how much health back you get. This is how I do it for people who are watching the stream. I don't just let them full heal because I feel like attrition is something that should be a thing. There should be a chance that you don't regain all your health. So very good. So you guys now recover from your wounds. You're feeling better, refreshed, ready to proceed. Duncan it doesn't really look very good, and I think mainly because of that, I'm going to roll a d20 plus 3. Oh god, she fails on her spell. She's not able to cast Cure Wounds anymore. Yeah, you do need to mark off a ration each, guys. Have you guys done that?
Yep.
Yes, and for Isabel as well, since I was holding her rations.
Alright, very good. What I will do then is, because I know that next week Duncan is going to be here, and we still have a little bit of a way to go before you arrive back in Sunstone, I am going to finish the session right here today, guys. You've actually got a lot done. A lot fucking done. You've pretty much finished the adventure. It sounds like you guys want to go back there, though. So, that's really interesting. I think we'll finish it here. We'll bring Duncan in next week. We'll see if anything happens from here to Sunstone. And then we'll actually have you guys interact with the keep, with the various shops that I've created for you guys that you can interact with. And you'll have the opportunity to do a downtime, each of you, if you wish. That can be carousing, or it can be philanthropy, or it can be training. You can train and spend money on training. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Absolutely. Sounds awesome.
Alrighty, very good. That was fantastic. Well done. Honestly, I was really I was worried for you guys fighting against the warlock, but you managed it. So props to you guys. I'm not gonna lie, I genuinely thought you guys would die, or at least a couple of you would, but you all managed to make it. And I didn't like pull back any punches either.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. No, you gotta risk it for the biscuit sometimes, and this one really paid off.
Yeah, like
It really did.
I shit you not, guys. Like, if you had allowed that warlock to get off one spell, that could have been a game changer for the fight, right? It could have like took one of you out or weakened one of you to a point where you weren't able to finish him off or finish off one of the other people. That was a very like RNG situation. But GG, you guys had a good strategy. You sneak attacked them. You surprised them. Without that surprise round, I don't think you would have been able to do it. So well done. Stakes aren't just for vampires, to somebody in the chat. It's for you guys too. And thank you everybody to the people who are watching, who've been watching along, and those of you who are watching this back on the VOD as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this session. We'll be back next week. I'll see you guys around. And I'm going to end the stream right here. Thanks, guys.